Jenny, I am so excited to have you on my show today. This is going to be a blast. I can't wait to talk about Charlotte. I can't wait to get into the details about her and her amazing career. So just thank you so much.
Thank you too so much for having me. I'm honored. This is going to be so much fun. Thank you.
So I want to ask you to just tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you always been a pig lover?
I've been an animal lover, like all animals, since I was a baby. Like I remember just being a baby and just being so, infatuated with animals, but always an animal lover, always a pig lover. Born and raised in Los Angeles, grew up in Sierra Madre, little small town, then moved to South Pasadena before coming up to where I'm at now, which is a small town in Calaveras County in Northern California. Always been a huge animal lover, have always wanted horses. No. Okay. Have been riding horses, always wanted horses, always wanted to live on a farm, always wanted to live on a ranch. Growing up, I would always tell my grandma, I want to live on a farm. I want to live on a ranch. Now where I'm at now, it's kind of like my dream come true. It's my childhood fantasy come to life. So yes, always an animal lover, always a pig lover, always wanted a pig.
All right. Well, you fit in with pretty much every one of my guests that I've ever had on the show. Most of them are just animal lovers at heart and have always had this desire to have a pig. So had you ever done any research or were you looking for a pig?
Well, like I said, I've always loved horses, been riding horses. My aunt had a horse, so I started riding around 3, started lessons in 3rd grade, so 9 years old. And so going to the tack stores was like such a huge fun outing. And I would always go to the bulletin board where people would post, things for sale, horses for sale. I remember one day vividly, this will forever stand out in my mind, pot-belly pigs, piglets, $75. It had a little, printout photo taped to it. Black and white piggies, precious. I'm 9 years old. It's very unlikely that I had $75 just hanging out in my pocket, let alone the means to, get one and care for it. Nonetheless, I ripped off a little number because, it just gave me that comfort of maybe one day. So yeah, that has been my pig thing. So getting a pig now at this age, yeah, my dream's fulfilled. And it actually looks like the little piggy in the photo from my youth. So she's Charlotte.
So how did you end up finding Charlotte?
I have a neighbor that has a pig, a Juliana pig. I've been up here for about 6 years now, and I've just always loved that pig. I'm like, oh, how fun. What an awesome pet. So in 2020 of August, I get a text saying, hey, we've got this, friend at work. Their pig just had piglets. They're going to be needing homes. Are you interested? I'm like, you don't have to ask me twice. Of course I'm interested, but let me know some info, what kind of pigs are they? How far along are they? Can I see some pictures? I get the pictures, and it's that picture from my youth, me tearing off that little tab of piglets down at that tack store when I was 9 years old. It just looked like her. And I got emotionally overwhelmed. And of course I'm like, that's it. Yeah, I'm going to find her. I'm going to meet her. And I guarantee you I'm going to bring her home. And that's how it kind of went. Of course, I did research leading up to this because I'm not just going to go and impulsively buy something. I'm going to set up and prep, and I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions. I'm going to ask the people who have these pigs some things. Was I fully prepped? No. I don't think you're ever as prepped as you think. You can say you're 100% prepped, but you're never fully prepared for that sort of thing. I assume it's like bringing a new child into the world and home with you. You think you have it all covered, but you really don't. And you learn along the way. And that's how it happened with Charlotte. But I think I got real lucky with her too, considering.
Wow. So then what was it like bringing her home? Did you feel like you felt prepared or you felt
there's the nerves that initially set in, like all of a sudden it's real. It's not just me being back in 3rd grade saying I want this pig and having this fantasy. It's real. You have this new little baby to take care of, this new little creature's coming into the house. And she was so small. And it concerned me at first because she was so small. They said she was the runt, and I could see that. but at the same time, I was just like, oh, wow, she's so fragile and delicate. She's just this little tiny thing. And she came home with me in a little dog carrier with her little newborn pillow, which I still have, and her little squeaks and oinks in the back seat. And it was just, oh my gosh, this is it. This is finally happening after years. How old am I now? And it's here. But I was so super excited. It's something I'd wanted in my mind. Oh my gosh, it brings me back to the Charlotte Webb days. At fourth grade, I think we read that book, and that's what kicked it off, I think, really hard. I identified as Fern. Like, I am Fern. I wanted to have a baby piglet. I wanted to swaddle it in a blanket. I even gave Charlotte a bath in buttermilk, like Fern gave Wilbur. So there was that. But yeah, bringing her home was just like, wow, okay, it's real. I've got this new little thing. And I had dogs. So that was in the back of my mind too. How's this introduction going to go? So, but it was exciting. It was a beautiful moment and a very exciting moment. The nerves were there, but I knew it was going to be okay.
Did it feel easy?
It felt scary, to be honest, because I'm not familiar with having a pig. I've had animals my whole life. Like, you name it, I've had one. A pig is totally different. You think you're going to understand everything having a pig. And it's when you are introduced to that world, it's totally different, so exciting, but scary, to be honest. It's a brand new thing, but I had the connections. I had my neighbor that had pigs. I could go to them. I could talk to the person that I got her from. My vet, thank goodness. That's number one important. Make sure you have a vet before you get a pig. Oh my gosh, because that's so hard to find. So like I said, I've just kind of lucked out with how things went with her. She's been healthy and, but there's been difficulties too, of course. The dog thing. I had two little dogs. I've got Pork Chop, my little 18-year-old wiener dog, little mini weenie. And then love of my life dog, Lammy, which was a little poodle Bichon, little rescue dog that I had gotten in 2009 down at a Los Angeles shelter. Charlotte was very funny between the two. She totally acclimated to Pork Chop and was fine. They'd hang out, snuggle in bed. That's when I started discovering piglet behavior and their hierarchy moves and wanting to be top hog and who can I dominate? Who's going to be the wink asleep here? And it was Lammy. But Charlotte also could tell from very early on that Lammy was my baby. And I think that's what really surprised me, is because being so young, she could manipulate that situation. And, really try to work one over on Lammy, because I think she could tell that bond, that I had with that dog, and she wanted to be that boss. And she was. Lammy passed unexpectedly almost 3 years ago, and I'll forever mourn and cry for that dog, love of my life. But up until that day, I had to keep those two totally separate because Charlotte just didn't want Lammy around, couldn't get in between me and her. Not mommy and me time, so Lammy and me had our time, but Charlotte had to be very monitored, which you do with dogs and pigs. And I'm not sure everybody knows that but that's so super important. Never leave your dogs and pigs unattended. Even if they get along and are friendly, that can be something that can turn bad real quick.
That's right. That's so important. And it is funny because pigs are very jealous. And so I'm sure she was jealous of you.
Early on, like, I actually called the lady that I got her from and I said, I'm having trouble. I just wasn't expecting her to be so pushy and be such a bully to this little dog. And it really concerns me. And she said to me, well, you have to correct it. There's move the pig technique. I did not know what that meant at first. So then, thank you for the information. I implicated that, you got to act right away and correct behaviors, or else they're going to keep doing it. But then she also said, if you don't want her, there's someone up the road from you who will take her. And I was kind of taken aback by that, because no, this is my child. Like, this is a commitment to me. I don't do that. She is with me for keeps and good, but I want to make it right and make sure I do all the steps to get her to a place where it's safe and healthy dynamic for everybody. But giving her up or giving her away was never an option.
Right.
With me for life, Charlotte.
Yep. I feel the same way. Yep.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Charlotte. What's her personality like?
Ooh, sassy mixed with classy. She is She is a diva. She is a queen. She is the boss. But she is such a baby. And I think that's kind of unanimous with pigs. Like they're forever babies, their personality. They're so like people, really. Their moods, they get little mood swings. I've never seen an animal like a pig. Dogs don't have a mood swing one day and one day they're just like, leave me alone. And hey, dogs are like, hey,
Yeah.
but pigs someday, Charlotte's in a mood today. This morning, she just woke up in a mood. And I said, okay, we're just going to have one of those days. Uh, but no, she's kind of bossy. She's kind of pushy. And I think that is a lot, my fault because I babied her a lot when she was little. She's an inside pig, she's an outside pig, but she comes in and goes when she pleases. She's very quick to be corrected. She knows. She's so smart. Immediate no, and she turns around and will pout. She'll
Oh
pout,
yeah,
but
pouting. Yep.
she'll cry and have a little meltdown or tantrum, but she's over it in 2 seconds. But she's really mindful of boundaries. And I think that's something so important to instill early on is boundaries.
Yes.
Because they're so smart. They'll pick up on things so quick. And she has, but yeah, she can be moody like the rest of them, but she's a baby. She's a love. She wants to be near me all the time. When I get home from work and if I sit down on the couch, she immediately comes in and what she'll do is she'll turn around and she'll back up like a little dump truck, beep, 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 right into mama because she knows I'm going to rake her. We do rake the pig. She's got a collection of back scratchers that'll rival a souvenir store in the Las Vegas airport. I've got a bunch of them and we go through all the rakes and she plops down. But now it's so routine for her. Mommy's home. It's time for rake the pig. I mean, they're so routine. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she just does little things like that. But personality wise, she's kind of a diva.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wish she was more, cuddly and friendly, but at the same time too, I respect and appreciate that because this is her space as well. She's territorial. Mm-hmm. If someone comes into the house or yard, she'll let you know.
Yeah.
She'll let me know, I'll hear it first. I actually have a sign on my gate that I got in jest, kind of just because it's cute and funny. And when you're a pig person and you see pig items, you have to have it. But it says, a caution sign, warning, property maintained by a highly trained potbelly pig, not responsible for possible injury or death. And it's kind of like, ha, but at the same time,
watch your back.
Yep. Don't come in this yard unannounced, Yep. So yeah, she's a great little watchdog, but she's my daughter, she's got her little moods and she's precious. She's a baby.
Mm-hmm. I too, my pig that lives in the house with us, she's super sassy, but I kind of like it. She's never, especially towards me, she's never like mean or nippy. She's moody and she definitely throws her little tantrums and she loves to punish me, right? So
oh my goodness,
but I love it. And I think something that I love about what you were talking about is that you let Charlotte be herself.
Yeah.
I don't like when people punish their pig for being a pig.
Pig's got a pig.
Yeah. Yep. Pigs are pigs. And since you're a horse person, I'm wondering if you find what I do, that I feel like pigs are a lot like horses. In the sense of, you have to be a strong leader and you have to stand up,
sure,
not be afraid.
Absolutely.
And horses are herd animals.
Right.
So they like to be in charge.
Right.
So you don't step up and be in charge and they're
going to walk all over you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're also super intuitive to your emotions. I used to be a therapeutic aide down in Los Angeles, and one of the girls that I looked after, she was autistic, and we did therapeutic horsemanship. Oh. And the dynamic between an animal and a child, like with special needs, it's a language, they are so intuitive. Animals can sense how you feel, what you're feeling. If you're feeling fearful, they will react, off of that. But seeing that kind of connection, I can see what you're talking about, like with a pig too, because a pig can read your emotions. A horse can read your emotions. They're very intuitive. They can feel off that. But that was such a neat experience because you could really see that dynamic. And that kind of, I think, relates to everything in life. They're going to be reactive to how you are. But pigs, I've noticed that a lot with Charlotte. If I'm not in a good mood, Charlotte's not in a good mood, you
Yeah.
know? But shoot,
Yeah.
I was happy today. I'm super excited. And she was just like, ma'am, I am just going to be outside today. And I said, okay. So she's outside.
Well,
Normally she'd be right here wanting belly rubs, but
oh
today
yeah.
she can be a pig.
Yeah. Let her be outside. Is
Yep.
it sunny there?
It's kind of overcast today, which is weird because it's been like in the 90s, but today it's kind of cool and weird.
Oh,
But
well,
yeah,
that's
not too
nice.
hot, but that's
Not
good
too
for
hot.
her. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So you mentioned something in your email that Charlotte had like an injury.
A bee sting,
Yeah.
3.
So what
Poor
happened?
thing. So that was in April 26th of 2021. She was out by her little mud wallow, which it isn't to the size it is today. I mean, as she's grown, she's made it
Yeah.
fit to scale. But back then it was just like a little puddle. Nonetheless, bees like mud. And in that time, springtime, there's bees around, there's wasps. And I was in my room folding laundry, and Charlotte came into my room and she was oinking. She'll always come in and like oink and greet you. But there was just something a little higher pitched. And I said, oh, Charlotte, what's wrong? And I turned around and looked at her, and immediately I could see her left eye was swollen up. And I thought, oh no, oh no. And I think, she got, was it a snake? Was it bees? What happened? But she was so good and so brave. She let me look at it. I rubbed her little tummy, and immediately the flop ensued. So she let me really get in there. And sure enough, I could see on the top lid a little hole. There was something sticking out of it like a sticker. I'm assuming it was a stinger. It had a little blood droplet. And then on her lower lid, there was 2 more marks. And I thought, oh my gosh, she got stung by a wasp. So I got my tweezers, and she was so good. Again, she was so
Wow.
brave. She let me I have pictures of it, her laying there with a little warm, I got a warm compress and soaked it. I pulled out the stinger, it was bleeding. I had called my vet, who's Rambo's vet at the time. And she was going to be in the area like within the next couple days. So she came over, thank goodness for timing, because I freak out. I'm one of those pet parents that, oh my gosh, my hair's out of place, call 911. So I worried, about her, because just the swelling and the drooping was so fast and so immediate. And then I start thinking, oh my gosh, is she going to have an allergic reaction? But she told me about the Benadryl dosing and all that. I did the flush. So when she came out, she looked at it. The drooping was no better. We did an eye flush. She put her on a steroidal antibiotic. It didn't do anything. And unfortunately, her eye never just, regained that lift.
Wow.
And as she got older, unfortunately, feeding, this is something I'm learning, overfeeding that can cause fat blindness. She got overweight. That didn't help her eye any. Now she's been on a diet, and she's in her summer bod mood phase right now. So she's been doing great, and I'm really proud of her for that. And that's helped with her vision. But that little eye is still droopy, So I've got a vet coming out soon next month, right before her birthday. And I'm really excited about that, because he's going to look in her eyes again and, check and make sure what's going on and see if there's anything we can do at this point. I mean, it's been a couple years, but always worth another check, but
Yeah. Well, I've been stung by a wasp, and that is extremely painful.
it is.
And not just when it happens, but it's painful for weeks.
It is. With me, I get delayed reaction. So I usually end up, if I get stung, give it 2 to 3 days, and I've got to go to the hospital and get a shot. I'm not at the point where I have to have an EpiPen, but it's something that concerns me, and it really concerned me with Charlotte. And now that her wallow's bigger, I've got like a little wasp thing out there, a little wasp trap around her pen, but I'm so super cautious. And it always worries me if she goes out there, or if I'm not home and she gets stung multiple times or something, will it be a worse reaction this time? But poor little thing, because she was not even 1 year old yet to have that happen. But like I said, again, she was so brave and just really let me do it. Not so much the eye wash. She's not a fan of getting stuff sprayed in her eye. And I couldn't name anybody that would be, but for the most part, she really was good about showing me. And I thought that was really neat that she came in to tell me. And that's exactly what she did. Pigs are so smart. I want everybody to know. And that's something too with this platform that I have for Charlotte. I talk about her to people all the time, and I stress and reiterate just how amazing they are, how intelligent they are, how loving they are. because some people are so in the dark about pigs. You know, they have all these misconceptions of them being dirty or stupid.
Mhm.
Couldn't be farther from the truth. Like, they are just magnificent animals. So I always tell people when I talk about Charlotte and what she does, I've got to segue into that because people should know.
Yeah, that is so true. I remember one time I was talking to somebody just in passing, told them what I do, and people are always like, "Oh, okay, okay. You can act, that's a job?" Like, yeah, it's a job. And I'm thinking about starting a podcast, and they're like, "What is there really to talk about when it
Oh
comes
my
to
goodness.
pigs?" And I'm like, "You have no idea." The list is endless.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so it's just funny. People have no clue what it's like. And I'm sure that's probably true for a lot of animals that people have that are just not common pets.
Right.
But pigs, in my opinion, they absolutely can be the best pet you will ever have in your life.
They are. Have you always been a pig person? I mean, did you start out loving pigs too? Or was it a
I
thing that, you
did.
know, you grew up wanting to do and just in the back of your mind loved and knew one day you'd do it?
Yeah,
Good
well,
for you. That's awesome.
I've always loved them. I mean, I was a
Yeah.
little girl, and I remember like all my friends were decorating their room in New Kids on the Block, and my room was decorated in pigs.
Perfect.
And I always said that I would never marry a man unless he lets me get a pig. And
Good girl.
I actually just got really fortunate. My husband is not an animal lover. He animals are fine, but he prefers it if an animal can do something for you. Like we have chickens, and our chickens lay eggs. So he's like, he likes those chickens, and he wants to take
Yeah.
them because they do their job. Our
Sure.
dogs, we have two dogs. Our dogs keep predators away. I mean, our dogs are phenomenal. And
Yeah.
and so he really likes them. Our cats, we have two cats. Our cats are barn cats.
Yep. I was just gonna say,
Yep.
there's your mice.
Yep.
Yep.
They earn every penny because they are
Yeah.
such good little mousers. They keep our
Good.
barn clean from all the rodents. So he likes that. When I told him I wanted to get a pig as a pet in the house, he was like, oh, I guess so,
Yeah.
really want to do that. But now, I mean, we got our first pig in 2004 on our
Okay.
first anniversary, and
Okay.
that
Aw.
pig was our baby. He was our
Sweet.
he was our baby. We took him
Sweet.
everywhere. So
That's wonderful and good for you with all your successes and what you're doing now too. Until people have loved a pig and experienced what it's like, they really have no idea
yeah,
because it's the most different animal I've ever had in my life. I can't imagine life without a pig now. I think that's going to be something forever, once you
yeah,
love a pig. But yeah, it's just a truly remarkable animal.
really is. And Charlotte is even a little extra special because she has a special talent. What is that
She
talent?
does. She paints. Charlotte the pig who paints, for those of you who know her. She paints. She is an artist. My little Picasso.
Which is unbelievable. I mean, you showed me some of her paintings, and it really is remarkable what
Thank
she can
you.
do. How did this come about?
I wanted to do piggy enrichment with her. So it was November 2021 when I started doing painting. Prior to that, I had a little agility course set up in my front yard. I had little poles. I made her a little homemade ramp, a little teeter totter. Really good with the teeter totter until it started to lift. And then she
Okay.
jumped off and was like, no, thanks. Probably why I'm doing ramp training now still. And it's being a little difficult for her because she's probably like, Mom, if this thing raises, I don't know. So then we started doing, I'm creative and stuff. We were all pretty much on lockdown at this time still. Pigs need enrichment. They need engagement. They're little children. Bored pigs can be destructive pigs. Luckily, Charlotte has never been destructive, which is a blessing. She's never torn up the house. She likes sheets. She'll tear up sheets, but what pig doesn't?
Right.
But yeah, she's just not been a destructive pig. Nonetheless, I want to engage and stimulate her little mind and get her moving, that helped with getting her active and moving and showing her something new. So I thought, what could I do that'd be fun? So I'm like, I'll try painting with her. So I got some little kid paint, non-toxic. It's all non-toxic, water-based, it's child-proof. And I thought, let's just give this a go. So I got some poster boards and laid it on the ground in the front yard one day and some little different size canvases. And I just squirted some paint colors around. I sprinkled it with some Cheerios and some granola and then just waited to see what happened. And she was kind of like, not really sure what this is, what's on the ground here, their site anyway. She's seeing all these shapes
Right.
and patterns and big blocks of white poster board, but there's treats on it. So she started exploring. And then once she realized, then she just kind of got into it. So she started walking, her little feeties were in there, her little snout was making marks, and she dotted these canvases. And I'm like, she's doing it. And it's really cute and fun to watch. And her first go, she did like four. I put like four little mini canvases on, like I said, a couple poster boards, and they turned out so neat. I mean, just really abstract, beautiful, neat things, more so because she's a pig. And all this, the first series she did was all blues. So I said, oh, she's in her blue period, hence the name Picasso, it works. But I loved it, and I just thought, what a neat thing to do. So we did it again the next month in different colors. And she got more into it this time. At first she was just, okay, I'm gonna sniff this out and see what's what and put a little snout marks here and walk over here. And when she's done, she's done. It's not like something I'm gonna say, you gotta stick it out. If she's not feeling it, I don't care. Do your thing. If you are interested, by all means, explore and have fun. But she's always been kind of interested. So the next month when we did it, I did a bigger size canvas. I did pinks and oranges and a little bit of reds. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like channeling her inner Georgia O'Keeffe. Here we go. This is now something, and a total different style than her first one. So that's what was so cool too, is because each one is obviously going to be so different, but just to see how much the style changed from month number 1 to month number 2. Month number 2, she put her whole body into it and body rolled into the paint, which creates these neat smears of color. Like the blending, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love them. And I get attached to everything. Like I'm her mom, obviously, like, oh, they're so precious, every single one. But I do feel that way because they, like I said, they're all so uniquely different. They're also 100% her. Everything is her. I don't have any say of, obviously I put the paint colors down. She can't tell me, mom, I feel like doing chartreuse and aquamarine today, so I'll put color down, but then the rest is her. And she just she's created a bunch, and each one, like I said, is so unique and so different and just so much fun to see the outcome.
That is the coolest thing ever.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Thank you.
I there's so much you could do with that. I mean, my goodness, I don't know if you're like building a brand around it or anything like that, but oh my goodness.
I'd love to.
And shirt.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
would love to. I want to do, like, she has sold paintings. She's sold paintings to Canada, across the US, Holland, Germany. I mean, worldwide. Like, I do photography, and Charlotte versus my art, Charlotte's sweeping me under the carpet. She's really pulling it ahead. And it cracks me up. It's great. It's so much fun. But in the long run, I want to do something to give back. Like, this is a cool thing. Like, I want to team up with somebody. I want to team up with a rescue. Let's raise some money. Let's give back. Let's do something with this. I don't have children. I would love to do something for Children's Hospital or something. It's just finding that right connection at the right time. And, you got to be careful who you work with too. And because there's a lot of people that will try to take your ideas and market it as themselves. And, and that's been, I've had issues with that too, but I don't care. I know Charlotte was here first doing the fair thing and all this stuff. Yeah, I'll talk to you about the fair. But in the long run, and like, I just started this mainly to do something fun and different. I want people to smile and have a good time with it. But now that it's garnered some more attention, okay, let's use this platform and let's do something. Let's raise some money and give back to some charity things or to help pigs. Hello. I think it's a neat thing. So if anybody wants to team up with me, reach out.
Yes,
But
please. I mean, I always say that a pig's superpower is making people smile. And
that's
when
cute.
you,
It is.
it just is, it doesn't matter if people like pigs or not. They see them and they're like, wow,
Yep.
that's so cool. Is that a pig? Yeah, that's a
Yep.
pig. So when you take just a pig and then you mix it with something like such a cool little talent that they can, it's not
Right.
little, a big, really cool thing, then you could do so much with that. You could do so much
I
good.
hope so. Yeah, I hope so. And it's still new, but like I said, she's been out there. So uh once we came out of lockdown and everything, the fairs, people started going out, people started having normalcy back in their lives. Fairs started happening again. And who doesn't love a good fair? Fairs are so much fun.
Mhm.
So we have something up here in my county called the Calaveras County Fair and Frog Jumping Jubilee. It's been one of the longest events in California history. The fair itself started like way back in like the late 1800s. I think it's like something like 1893 or something. Down the line with the Mark Twain. So the whole frog jumping comes in. That's after Mark Twain's story of the celebrated jumping frog of Calaveras County. So around that time, what it was like 1928. So we've got the fair going. Then this new frog jumping aspect came in. And by 1937, they merged. And here we have the Calaveras County Fair and Jumping Frog Jubilee. It's a
Very
big deal. It
cool.
draws like
Yeah.
40 to 60,000 people a year.
Oh,
People love it. It's so much fun up here. So that was fair number one right after lockdowns were done. So I thought, you know what? Charlotte has quite a collection. I'm going to enter her in the fair. I'm going to enter her art and see if how that will go. So I remember calling the office and I said, I've got a question for you. I'd love to enter some art. And they're like, okay, you know, you have to fill it. I said, well, it's a pig. And they said, excuse me? And I said, it's a pig. The pig, what do you mean it's a pig? I said, well, the pig paints. I have a painting pig. So can I enter her? And the girl laughs. And then she talks to somebody in the background and they laugh and they said, I don't see why not. You know, I had to enter it under my name, you know, of course, but then the subcontext was Charlotte the pig who paints, but she was entered. So I said, let's just see how this goes. Everybody's been depressed and miserable for what, 2 years, not doing anything. I want to have fun. I want people to come back to this fair and go through these art exhibits, turn a corner and see artwork done by a pig. Because the reaction, I think, would be pretty good. People will be smiling and laughing and just it'll brighten someone's day. And that was the goal. So I entered her art. Come fair time, it was opening day. I went, you know, and I was walking through the art exhibit. I didn't know where her art was hung. And we walk around the corner and on the rack, there's Charlotte's art. I get all emotional, but there was blue ribbons on it. She won first place. So that blew me away because, you know, I did this for fun. I wasn't in it to, come on, Charlotte, we got to win this thing.
yeah.
It was just something cute and innocent and fun to make people smile. I wasn't expecting to win and she did. She won first place. So I saw reaction of families, you know, little kids saying, oh my gosh, mom, check this out. A pig did it. You know, that's cute. That was the point. People are having a good time with it. So I was so excited and just so proud of her and proud of the project. You know, little pig, I come home and tell her, pig, you won. And she's just like, okay.
Where's my dinner?
You know? Yeah. Yeah. She got a little watermelon. She's always rewarded with a little watermelon treat.
Love it.
But then we entered the next fair, which was the Motherlode Fair, and she won. So our final county fair was Amador, and she got a second there, but she got this beautiful the rosette ribbon, which is and the painting in the background over there. For that was a special honor and award. So very special. She had a great fair run, and I couldn't be more proud. But yeah, then news stations picked up on it. I was volunteering at the Humane Society here, and as I'm pulling into the parking lot for my shift, my phone rings, and it's a reporter from a local newspaper from the Motherlode area, Sonora, you know, where her little art was for fair number 2. And they said, we hear you have a painting pig. We'd like to do a story. So as I'm sitting in this room volunteering, you know, I've got kittens climbing all over me, and I'm trying to have this reporter ask me serious questions about, you know, Charlotte and the painting thing, but it went well. So the newspaper came out, and the little town that I'm in now doesn't get this newspaper, but where my dad's at, he does. So I called him at the morning it came out. I said, Dad, the newspaper's out. if you stop by today, please bring me a paper. I'm dying to see it. You know, they did an article on Charlotte. Charlotte's in there. So he sends, like an hour later, my phone pings and it's a text from my dad. He goes, there's your newspaper. And Charlotte's on the front page like that. I know I got emotional again because that is the last thing. I thought maybe like page 5, you know, on a sleeve or something, there'd be a little thing. Hey, painting pig at the fair.
Right.
She has the full cover and it's her little face covered in paint, just a little smile, you know, and it's precious. Yeah. And then we got contacted from the news. So then we were on the news. CBS 13 in Sacramento did a story on us, and then that went everywhere. Like it went to Finland, you know, like literally news stations all over the world. And I got messages in her little Pigstagram account saying, hey, we just saw you here. We just saw you here. And that blew my mind. Like,
Oh, cool.
it is. Yeah, very cool. Like, just started as a fun piggy enrichment idea, and now she's a worldwide artist.
Yes. Highly acclaimed. And now she has her own podcast episode too.
She knows all about it. I told her, I was like prepping with her yesterday. I said, Charlotte, tomorrow's a big deal. Yeah, she knows.
Wow, that is so amazing.
Thanks so much.
I see, because here's the thing, you know, I have pigs. I've had pigs for a long time. And I know that doing something like that with them is not, it's kind of like finger painting with toddlers.
Sure.
You got to get the stuff out, you got to make sure everything is, you know, reachable and everything. And then you got to get everything cleaned up. So does
Yep.
yeah, because she's going to have paint all over her body.
She is multicolored at the end of some of her sessions. And it's funny, since she was a baby, when I got her, they said she doesn't like water. And I said, okay. I gave her a bath and I was like, oh my, she does not like water, you know, and some don't, some do. Right. You know, I see videos all the time with all her little pig friends going to town in their pools being hosed down. I turn on a hose and Charlotte goes, I am out of here. So that's one thing. She's gotten so much better, but I never just blast her with the hose. I have a bucket, a sponge, which of course is shaped like a pig because hello. So she has her little piggy. Yes, yeah. Right. So she gets a little sponge bath. It's at her own time until she relaxes. You know, I've done the peanut butter lick mats, but when she's having bath time, she doesn't even really care about it. But like I said, she's gotten a lot better with that. I've done another style too recently to avoid messes, where I'll put the paint on the canvas and then I'll cover it with something like a large Ziploc bag, put the canvas in there, let her smear it around, you know, and then you have your painting. You don't have to clean her up. She doesn't need to have a bath after every single painting. She doesn't get it on, you know, her face and mouth. And a lot of times people ask me, well, does she eat the paint? And that's a valid question because she's going around with the treats, but no, she doesn't. Yes, she'll get it on her mouth and her nose, on her cheeks, everywhere, but she's not sitting there ingesting pain. That would be an absolute stopping point, you know, for us. But no, she's covered in paint head to toe sometimes, but yeah. But like I said, the second method, she stays clean, and sometimes she'll try to go through the plastic and get out of the paint. But yeah, and she's rolled on that too before, which I think is so funny because that's kind of like her signature style. Like there's videos of her on my page where it just shows her bod going full out, you know. Yeah.
I really need to go through your page because I looked at it, but I didn't. This conversation has been good because it's a lot of context. So I'm gonna go look through. I can't wait to see that. That's adorable.
Thank you.
Precious.
Thank you. We've had our mail lady drive by delivering mail sometimes when Charlotte's been out painting, and she goes, oh my gosh, you see painting? Because she knows everyone. I live in a real small town. They know of her. So she gets out, she's taking pictures. I've got to send this to my daughter. That's hilarious. But yeah, she just does her thing. And when she's done, she's done. You know, she just casually walks away and, oh, there's a blade of grass. I might go check that out. And yeah, but she'll also try to come into the house and show me, like she wants to decorate the walls or something. She does that when she does her mud too. When she goes into her wallow, she'll be covered in mud without fail, like all the time. And I don't know why, like psychologically, why she feels the need to like do her mud and then show me come through the house. But that has been since a baby. So I've got a photo of her standing by the door, just waiting to come in, but she's covered in paint. And I'm like, I know what you're gonna do, but we're gonna have a bath first. But
Yeah, we're gonna get this cleaned up just a little bit.
yeah, then you can come in and I don't care. But poor house and walls. But as any pig parent knows, show me one clean wall in that house.
Or door.
That we're not, yes,
Yeah.
the doors.
Every door in my house has dirt snout marks on it.
I wouldn't have it any other way. That can all be cleaned up,
Yeah.
worth it. It's worth it.
It is. What do you think, just having a pig in the house, what do you think the biggest challenge has been for you?
Getting too spoiled, getting too comfortable, getting too territorial. And that can be dangerous. That can be a problem if you don't correct that right away. She's walked into my room on several occasions and closed the door in my face. And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, you don't get to tell me when I can and can't come into my own bedroom. Get out of here. And she'll oink out of there, whether she's doing it on purpose. She might be. She's smart. Like, I would not put it past her. But usually she goes in there and she's building her nest. And it's like, all right, this is my time. Right. But that's the thing, too. If you go in there and disturb her while she's building her nest, hey, back off. And you're like,
Yeah.
And that can be intimidating, too. If a pig turns around and head swipes you or charges you, my feelings always get hurt. I'm like, don't do that to your mom. Right. I take it so personally, like, it's your mom. Don't do that to me. But they do. And that's just a pig behavior. They're territorial. They're protective of their space. That has been a challenge. To this day, she kind of pushes me and she'll be bossing me around in here, but she also knows what she's doing, because I immediately correct it and then she stops and then I'll say, go outside. You can't go outside, and she goes right outside, and then her mood changes. You correct it and they know, and she switches off. Yeah. People in the house, she's really good with some people that she's known. If you've got a stranger or a friend coming over, that's going to be a different issue. It'll be the little high-pitched squeals, which is like usually I'm on alert mode. This could be a warning or a threat to me. That little vocalization, which I'm sure you're familiar with. That's another thing about pigs, all their little sounds, their sounds, squeaks, squonks, all meaning a different thing. But when I tell people, like, be careful when she's doing that high-pitched thing, because I'll be asked what is she doing? I'll just say, just be careful, Don't come in here without me, is what I'm saying. Yeah. But even then, but yeah, that's been an issue. And when I first started, it was the dog thing. That was really concerning to me. It broke my heart, to see her go after Lammy. And then when Lammy passed, I have a new dog now. I got at the animal shelter. I had Pig in her pen. Char was all set up for a new arrival. I didn't want her to feel threatened or intimidated when I'm coming home with a new dog, because I know it's going to be overwhelming with the scents and everything. The second I got out of that car with my new dog, she went berserk. She knew the second he jumped out that, hey, who is this and what are you doing and who are you bringing into my territory? She hated me and that dog for 3 days. I mean, I was beside myself. I cried for 3 days. I thought, what have I done? My heart broke for her, because I thought, what if she doesn't turn back over? What if this is now her, way of being towards me? I can't have that. Again, never going to get rid of her. Right. She's with me for life. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to figure it out. So what I did is I just kept her as an outside pig for a while. Let her be a pig. You don't get the full run of the house. This is a new animal we're bringing in. We got to get acclimated. We got to get used to smells. Slow introduction, as you would, I think, with any animal you would bring in new. Let them smell each other through the fence. They actually met by accident one time, because I had Pig doing her thing out in the front. I always call her Pig. I always call Charlotte or Pig. So if I say Pig, it's Charlotte, obviously. So Pig was out in the yard doing her thing. I had Ziggy, my new dog, in the house, but my front door wasn't closed all the way till it clicked. So I'm out cleaning her pen. And all of a sudden I hear Ziggy bark, and my heart plummeted out, because Ziggy is supposed to be inside. Charlotte was, and I ran around the corner from her pen, and there they were, both standing in the yard together. And I thought, oh my goodness, my heart was like literally going to explode. But to be honest, I think that was the best way it could have happened. That accidental meeting, I was there, nothing could have happened. But I would have waited a long time, and I would have probably prolonged it and made it a bigger deal. You know what I mean? But having it happen that way, now they knew each other, and that's it. Now they met. They chase each other around, and you should see them now. They're hysterical together. They play tarp together and chase each other around the yard. never unattended, of course, but what a difference from day one.
Wow.
And that can happen. And that made me feel better, because I tell you, that devastated me, as I'm sure it devastated Charlotte. They're
Yeah.
such emotional beings. I'm sure she was confused, thinking, what have
Yeah.
you done?
Yeah, and they
So,
don't like change.
no,
So
oh,
change is difficult.
yes, it is. Even if you change a doormat in front of,
Yes.
yeah, you should have seen the dramatics when I changed my doormat one time. It was like I had to coax her out with peanuts. Charlotte, you're okay. And just screaming, crying, oh, mom, why, And now she's fine. But yeah, it's just the change. It's,
Mm-hmm.
little things like that can be a big deal for a pig. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't realize that either, because at first I was like, what's happening? And someone else said it's a change thing. It's the mat, it's the difference, her vision sees it differently now. So
Mm-hmm.
it could be the depth perception, and it throws her off a little bit. But yeah, but they get used to things relatively quick and well.
Yes. And it helps if we are patient. And I like to tell people, like, keep little things in their world changing so that they get used to change, so that when
Right.
they do have a big change, then it's not as impactful on them.
Right.
So those are some definite challenges that I too have seen. What about your favorite part? What's your favorite part about having a pig?
Everything. Everything, even the parts that were causing trouble and worry for me, is a good thing, because you learn from it, you gain experience, you know how to handle it the next time. Looking back, there's a million things I would have done differently. If I could start everything over with her again, I would, because now I know.
Yeah.
But I love absolutely everything. I mean, the little earthy smell of them, the little wet nose, their sounds, their little fishy breath. I always call her my little fish breath, because they have like a little certain breath. The little sound of their hooves on the floor,
I
their
love that.
personality.
I
The
love that.
cutest. The
The high
cutest. I'm like,
heels.
yes, I was going to say, here comes a tap dancer. um, she also sings. It's really fun. She'll mimic me. So we do singing. I say singing in the kitchen, and we'll go, whoo, and she'll go, oh, and so I've got videos of us. I'm like, singing pig, and she'll be like, ooh, it's hilarious. So things like that, the connection, the bond, the relationship that you form, their intelligence, their humor, their sass. I love everything about pigs. They're adorable. They're the cutest. It's brought such joy into my life. I can't even describe it. I love everything about it.
Yes, I agree with you. I love it all.
Yeah.
Even
Yep.
the sassy parts and the parts that aren't so fun, I still like those too.
It is, because it is fun. Even the not fun is fun. Like, there'll be times when she'll be ornery, and I'm trying to be serious, but I'll laugh because it's smart what she's doing, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Until it
Yeah.
creates obviously a problem. That can be a whole nother thing. But problems can be solved if you're patient and you have the knowledge and the means to do it. Such a great thing that I have found is social media groups. Like, just my friend connections that I've made through Instagram, it's been so incredibly helpful. I'm a first-time pig parent, and there are so many neat groups out there, like on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, where there's a bunch of us, people having pigs with a question, or you can find vet groups there, because that's something too. Vets can be really hard to find for a pig. There's pages for people that want to network vets and farriers, and how cool. Like, what a great, get on, do that, learn stuff. Oh my gosh, that's been such a great thing for me and Charlotte, because like I said, my first time pig, we're learning as we go along.
Yeah.
But we've lucked out, like, living in the area that I do. I've been fortunate to have, large animal vet. I can have a large animal vet do a ranch call, because she's a big bone girl. It's hard to get her in the car. I can't really do that right now.
Yes.
But, yeah.
It's so important to have a good vet, a knowledgeable vet. It literally could save your pig's life.
Yep.
In emergency. It's so important.
Yep.
If you had to give one piece of advice to somebody listening who's interested in getting a pet pig, what would that be?
It sounds so cliche, but do your research. Do your research. And once you think you've done your research, do some more, because there is always more. Like, you are never going to stop learning. There is always something new to learn, to discover, to work on. Do your research and then do some more, because there are so many little things that you don't think about, that you're going to find out when you bring that pig home. But absolutely find out as much as you can. You know, do your research. Make sure you have a vet. This is more than one piece of advice, but it's kind of lumped together.
Yeah.
So yeah, the doing the research, but that includes, you know, finding a vet in the area, having proper space, make sure your yard's secure. Oh my goodness. Because some pigs are escape artists. Thank goodness Charlotte has never been a destructive pig or an escape artist. I live on, you know, beside a highway. That can be a major concern and problem for anybody, obviously. Give your pig plenty of activity, you know, pay attention to your pig, interact with your pig, learn as much as you can, and enjoy every second.
If somebody wants to find you on social media, how can they find you?
We're on Instagram only. So at Charlotte the Pig Who Paints, and you can follow along on her artistic journey.
Jenny, thank you so much for being here. I've so enjoyed talking to you, learning about Charlotte, her amazing talents, and all
Thank
the
you so
cool
much.
ways that you've been able to help to educate people and teach people and just make people smile.
Thank you so much. This means a lot to us. And I'm, like I said, I'm absolutely honored to have been a part and a guest on your show. So thank you so much. And awesome work that you're doing too. All of it. Your podcasts, your baby pigs, you're doing a ton of educational work too. And I'm proud of you because it's a great deal that you're doing. And so thank you so much for that too.
Thank you. What a huge
You're
compliment.
welcome. Absolutely.
We're going to pause. And then I'm going to say, okay, so now Jenny has agreed to stay on just for educational membership group members, and as a little bonus feature. And she's going to show us some of Charlotte's paintings.
Yay! Thanks so much, everybody, too, for tuning in and for watching this. It's been an absolute joy. So this is one of her first pieces she ever created.
That's
you
beautiful.
Can see the little snout marks there. And what I love about this is it looks like there's a J there. For me, I'm like, I've got to keep this one. It has my initial. So this was her blue period, hence the name Picasso. And there's her after the fact. So that's kind of been her first picture that I took of her painting, and kind of been like her main picture.
So
this was another one that we did. I don't know if you can see this okay. So this is one of the ones that we also entered in the fair, the first one, the Calaveras County Fair, and the Jumpin' Frog Jubilee. Get this out of the way. This kind of looks like the universe to me. It looks like a galaxy or something. And this is a one that she did the full body roll, did her whole thing. And usually they'll have a piece of Cheerio or granola on it. Yeah, so that's why I entered her in the mixed media division, because it has Cheerios and granola stuck to it. But that's like a trademark thing.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you so much. And that's one of the awards of recognition she won from Amador County Fair. And here's her little blue ribbons. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So cute. Let's see. This is one that I just started doing. We did kind of a spring flower series. So I called it Charlotte's Garden. So these were tulips, and I had tulips in kind of this color. And this one's posted on my Instagram. All of these are. You can see these all on here. But this is a style where it's not a full body roll, but this has a covering over it.
Okay.
So you're going to see the different textures and the different styles. This is one of my favorites she just did. I have a black and white dog. She's a black and white pig. They look the same, so I call it twins.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love
so
that.
Just abstract, and like I said, they're all so different. This was one of a part of a series we did, because we did a silent auction thing for the Humane Society and entered one of her big pieces. So this is one of the series. We did 3, but this is one of the 3. And I love this, all the colors, just the smears of rainbow colors. And there's her little signature Cheerios. You got to have the Cheerios or it's not Charlotte. Yeah, but there's several more, but those are just some. And here, of course, is her little newspaper. And I can't tell you how floored I was to see that on the front page. And that just made my heart like burst into every piece. That's so emotional and cute. There she is.
Do you happen to have the link to that article? Do you know if they put that online?
I think so. I think he sent it to me in text. I'll find it to you and send it to you after this or something. I'm sure I have it.
I would love to be able to put the link below so that if anybody wanted to see it, they could.
There's also, I do have the link to the CBS 13, the news.
Oh, yes.
I have that one too.
If you could send those to me, I would love it.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So there you go. Those are some of Charlotte's little pieces of art.
They are beautiful. Thank you for sharing them with us.
Of course. Thanks so much for wanting me to share it with you guys. I'd love to do that. Thank you.